Okay, hello there. Good job, everyone, for making it through the whole night. I'm really impressed. So my name is Gregorio Osha, and I attend the Tillard Mountain School. And this summer, I went to work at the glamorous Democratic National Committee HQ in Denver. So my first day, I arrived, and it maybe wasn't as glamorous as I thought. It was kind of just a room with a couple tables spread out, and then it was a bunch of just casual people working like every day. So a lot of people know of the DNC, but what exactly does the DNC do? So the DNC is in charge of getting Democrats elected all across the ballot, in the entire state of Colorado. So they have different departments to do this, like the digital department, political department, voter protection department, data analytics department, communications department. And I kind of bounced around all of those and just did a lot of helping around. So the main thing I did was make a bunch of spreadsheets and do a bunch of data analytics. So this was going on to different websites, finding all this information, transferring it to a spreadsheet, and then kind of analyzing how they can be the most efficient while using the most minimal amount of manpower. So like for one of the spreadsheets I did, I had to find all the concerts in the area, how many people were gonna be at those concerts roughly, how many people we needed to send to do voter registration, and just try to make it most efficient as possible. That wasn't the only thing I did. I also did things like create flyers, and I made calls and organized events, and I also greeted people as they walked in the door for a little, which no one ever walked in the door, except for people who already worked there. So that was a little interesting. But so it was a bunch of jumping around, but it was really cool to just see everything happen where this is like the head of the entire democratic process in Colorado. One of my favorite events was this literally Trump poetry jam and slow jam event, and that was basically we read a Trump quote and then you kind of just react to it through poetry or a slow jam. There were some really good ones, and it was a really cool event that I got to help kind of create throughout and then watch come together. Some things I learned. I think the main thing I learned is how much effort is put into running a campaign. Some of the organizers, which are the people like recruiting voters for a specific region, can work up to 14 hours a day and 7 days a week, and they're paid, less than obviously minimum wage. But so it's just they have a lot of work, and it kind of inspired me to really just appreciate how much work is put into each Democratic campaign. Another thing was how casual things were. It was like you would expect maybe for the DNC HQ to be like super uptight and like very, it's like everyone's in suits, but that was not the case. Like you would hardly even tell that you were in that. You feel like you're in a college dorm because that's what it looked like. Some adventures of living independently, kind of. My family was really great people. They were my best friend's grandparents, Nancy and Gaines Berry, but they're also pretty hardcore Republicans, which made it a little interesting coming home from working at the DNC. Let's just say I didn't talk a lot about what I did every day. So that other interesting thing was my car troubles, which was just, if you read my blog, you probably heard a lot about. I popped a tire, had to go get it fixed, and I figured I had a malfunctioning transmission sensor, which took like 5 days to fix and multiple times getting abandoned in the middle of Denver and finding my way home on the public transit system, which was fun. It wasn't all a challenge though. I did get to explore the city of Denver, which is actually surprisingly a city. I didn't really know that. Didn't think Colorado had a city. But I also got to explore Boulder a little, walk around the campus, and to walk around Pearl Street, and yeah, it was a really cool time. My advice to future interns, why apply, is it gives you a chance to live independently, which is pretty rare these days. Even if you do things through your school that feel independent, you really just have so many strings attached that it's easy to just rely on those. So when you're independent, you're responsible for getting to work, and you're responsible for getting home, and that was just a really fun experience. It also lets you explore a passion, and it's a great work experience, just going to an office every day and putting in multiple hours of work. What to remember is don't get caught up in exactly what you're doing because it might not be glamorous. A lot of times I was just putting information from one sheet to the next, one sheet to the next, and that kind of just drove me crazy after a while. But I did it, and it was really valuable at the end because I got to just see what was going on behind the scenes, and I tried to take every opportunity possible to learn as much as I could, and as many other people said, ask a bunch of questions and create relationships, because I still keep in touch with some very high up members of the DNC, and they're going to be great relationships in my future. I'd like to say thank you to Sarah Holbrook and the entire Pinhead community, the DNC, and my host family, Nancy and Nancy and Gainsberry. Sorry, thank you so much.